when we say thank you for the time to Florida head football coach John Sumrall, we mean it because, man, what a whirlwind it is right now in college football. And
time is precious.
The calendar is crazy. Coach, congrats, and we hope you're doing well.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I'm doing well, man. Not getting a whole lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Been busy. Transfer portal's wide open. Have all the staff essentially here now, which is nice because I need all the help I can get.
Have you just randomly text Spurrier out of nowhere?
Coach Spurrier, yeah. Well, yeah. I've seen him a lot.
Yeah. But at night, will you just be like, hey, what's up, Coach?
Yeah, I've texted with him some. We texted, I guess, maybe Saturday night. Texted with Urban a lot, too. Urban's actually, I think, I'm not going to disclose his exact location, but, yeah, Urban is supposed to be stopping by at some point this week. But the problem is I've now got a meeting that's going to take me off campus when he's here. But, yeah, those guys have been awesome, man. It's pretty cool to sit in the same seat that those two guys sat for sure.
Yeah.
There's so much talk about balancing two different jobs and everything going on, and we're seeing it throughout the college football playoff. Coach, you just lived it. Coaching Tulane in a college football playoff game while also hiring a staff, worrying about the portal, worrying about your roster at Florida. What was that process like? And when you watch some of these other games, you went up against a team that's having to balance all this out with Ole Miss as well. What are some of your thoughts about having gone through that process?
Yeah, with the Tulane to Florida transition, I was really the only one doing it because all the guys that were on my staff at Tulane that were going to follow me here, which everybody didn't come, but because some guys, Tulane needed to keep some guys to help them be successful moving forward, and there were some guys I needed here. But I didn't really put anybody in a situation where they had to maybe make a decision or be split with their time. Other than myself, I was very busy with both jobs, and when I had downtime, I was coming here. I was in Gainesville a lot, trying to meet with players, talk to as many guys as I could, spend time with them. When we got into game weeks, I was always going back to New Orleans to get ready for a game. And so it was a lot. I never liked losing. The morning after our loss to Ole Miss in the CFP game, I did wake up and I looked at my wife and I'm like, man, doing one job is going to give me like at least the ability to have focus and attention to detail at a higher level, I think. And so the calendar doesn't make it easy for when you're in a scenario where maybe taking another job and still playing the playoff. Ole Miss done a great job. I think that staff's done a fantastic job with Pete down of managing the situation.
I know Nick Saban went on ESPN College Game Day and railed against the calendar. Is it an easy fix in college football? There are a lot of things that seem a little bit complicated. Some seem pretty easy. Is fixing that calendar of season-ending college football playoff, portal, semesters starting, and everything else, is that an easy fix in the game right now that needs to happen?
Yeah, common sense has to prevail at some point, right? Like, let's not outsmart ourselves. So, we moved the signing date that used to be in February up to December for the mid-year guys, which I'm good with. But then we moved it from the end of December to the beginning of December, which is conference championship week. So this past December first week, I took the job here on a Sunday, flew here on a Monday after a Monday practice for a conference championship game, flew back to New Orleans for Tuesday practice. Wednesday morning, was in charge of doing 2 signing days, one at Tulane and one here. And then also having practice for a conference championship game the same day. So we had 2 signing days I was trying to run and make sure we did an okay job. And really, to me, we've become a little bit more like the NFL. We're not completely NFL because, believe it or not, our guys are still supposed to go to school.
Yeah.
All right? Like, I don't know if they all go, but they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And so there's an element there where the NFL, they've got this thing figured out to where, like, you do this thing called football season. All right? At the end of football season, you have coach movement, player movement, but nobody can leave until the season's over unless somebody gets traded, of course. Then after the season's over, coaches and players can move, like coach movement, free agency, draft. And they do OTAs, mini camps, training camp, and they do this thing again called football season. All right? So how can we change that in our world? I think maybe move the season up. The more the playoff expands, we're at 12, go to 16, whatever it gets to, but move the season up start the playoffs earlier, end the playoffs earlier, closer to January 1, like we used to do. Now, TV drives everything, but I think there's a way where we could get the national championship game back closer to January 1st, and then everybody right now would be focused on just player movement and that sort of thing. But I don't think it's that complicated to fix. I do think it takes common sense. I don't know how many people got that.
It's funny you bring up school, Hutton. We've talked about it. I can't remember the last time someone was academically ineligible for a bowl game.
A lot of them just graduated.
I feel like since NIL, we haven't had a single academic casualty.
We don't hear about
I remember growing up in college football and having to worry about your favorite team's players not passing their finals in order to play in the bowl game. Coach, that seems like a thing of the past now.
Yeah, well, some of that changed too with COVID because all these classes went online, and it's like that's a different world. But on top of that, like the academic piece, like it does still matter. Like getting a degree does mean something. The other thing I think is really funny is like, we're allowed to like pay players, right? Which I think is freaking awesome. Like I want our guys to get paid. They deserve it. They work their ass off. Like I'm all for it. But like we give out like Jordan brand shoes here because we're a Jumpman school. We're over here. And so like that's like a cool hip thing. And I've got like all these Jordans on my desk over here, but we can't give them to the players till after their career's over because the monetary value is too great. It's called the extra benefit. And I'm like, well, the shoes are worth a couple $100 or maybe, I don't know, maybe a couple $1,000. I don't know what they're worth, but we're already paying these dudes. Like, why can't we give them these shoes?
So Chad and I will text and give them to them.
It seems like something cool to say
outside of a window where you're supposed to call him because that's illegal ridiculous too. Like, I can't pick up the phone and call a guy before he's a certain age. I'm like, but we can pay him whatever we want to pay him. So,
hey, the perspective of that you have here. So, the NFL field general manager now, a front office for the Florida Gators with Dave Caldwell, and I'm curious, like when you take the job, how jarring is it the vast difference between available funds, resources, meetings for NIL, just the structure itself going to the SEC?
Well, I tell people, I'm very grateful. My first job was at Troy University as a head coach. At Troy University for a little while there, year one, I was the head football coach. I was the nutritionist. I was the GM. I was like a part-time equipment guy. I was like an operations guy. Like I did everything. Like there wasn't anything that went on in the building that didn't really have to have my fingerprints on it. It all had my fingerprints on it to some degree.
Sure.
Yeah, occasionally if I got to line the field, I'll line the freaking field. Like whatever I got to do. Go to Tulane, a little bit more resourcing, a little bit more help. Come here, more resourcing again, more help. Very grateful for Dave. As Dave and I put this together, there's a lot that I'm leaning on him for because I want to coach the football team. All right. And I'm going to recruit the players, which still means relationships. I'm not a freaking negotiator. Like I'm not sitting down with guys going, well, this is your salary. This is your years, like buyouts, bump that. I want to coach. And so Dave's been awesome for me. Him being here has made me more attracted to this job, this role. There's a lot of things I think we have to address, maybe and recalibrate with how things have been done at Florida, restructuring some of the stuff. We're in the process of doing so. There's a lot of people here that want to see this get done the right way. A ton of people, a lot of support. But we need everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. And we all got to be aligned. And we all got to understand, like, man, we're on the same team here. And let's do this together. You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together, right? And so we have to make sure that we have a strategic plan that's built to last, not just built for like, let's win a few games. And so there's some hard decisions that come up because we have limited resourcing, even though we have more resourcing than Troy or Tulane. I can't just pull out the checkbook and outbid every other SEC school every time I want a player because we do have a set amount of funds that we can't go over. And so Dave's been very helpful in that process. Very glad he's here with me.
Hey, if you like the channel, become a season ticket holder for Hot Mic by clicking the subscribe button below and join the conversation in the comments section. Agree, disagree, we'll join you there in the chat. Now back to Hot Mic.
Well, and speaking of hard decisions, DJ Lagway, faced a hard decision. You faced a hard decision when meeting with him and talking about the future. How was that meeting? And looking back now and looking forward, How do you sort of feel about the whole situation?
I love DJ. I think DJ's a tremendous young man. Like the time I got to spend with him and the research and homework I did on him, nobody would ever say DJ Lagway, not a good person. Everybody's like, man, great person. All right. Obviously a talented football player. Like you've seen his good has been really good. I've watched it with my own two eyes. Think the world of him. You know, when I met with DJ, I just say, look, man, this culture is to be built on toughness and love of football. If you fit that, great. If you don't, then that's not going to be good. I said, you know, let's talk through what this is going to look like moving forward. Would love to have you stay here if you're comfortable with some ground rules that are laid out. And it was his decision to leave. He was not forced out of here by any stretch of the imagination. I'm for him being successful wherever he goes next, unless we play against him at some point, right?
Yeah.
But I'm for DJ. I've had players I've coached that have left me. Darian Mensah was my quarterback at Tulane.
Pretty good one.
2024. I hope Darian Mensah has great success his entire career, unless I coach against him and I want him to lose. All right. We did that last year. We played against Darian. You know what he did? He lost. All right. So I'm for everybody that I've been around. I'm not against guys. I hope DJ ends up in a great situation and he can be extremely successful and have a great career. I hate that it didn't work out here. I would have loved to have had the opportunity to coach him. He just felt like maybe it wasn't the right fit. And so we've all moved on.
I feel like there's this giant dichotomy in the sport right now. You coach the ultimate we game. It is the ultimate team sport that you're coaching with football. Yet college football has become the ultimate me sport. And I'm talking about, you know, coaches having to look out for themselves, number one, players looking out for number one. People are comparing it to the NFL, and I'm thinking it's not the NFL because the NFL, when you sign a contract, you got to honor it. You know, if you're a player, you're locked in for a certain amount. You can't renegotiate not just every season, but every week with the coach or with the administration. How do you navigate that in trying to live sort of, I feel like the best coaches kind of have to live in both worlds. And I feel like that's got to be tough. It's a tough pill to swallow for me as someone who covers the sport and follows it. Is it tough for you to coach in it?
Yeah, so my brother lives in Atlanta. He's 50. He loves SEC football. It's tough for him because he's like, man, it's not like it used to be, you know, where you signed a guy and you knew he's going to be there for 4 or 5 years unless he transferred down to an FCS school and you saw him develop the whole way through. I think you have to adapt and adjust. Whether I like every part of the new model doesn't matter, right? Like, so there's certain things that maybe I don't like that I just have to embrace and evolve with. At the end of the day, man, I'm for our players getting paid. I'm okay with transferring being allowed. I do think we could probably put more substantial things in the contracts to maybe make it more concrete to where guys are committed to a place a little bit more. I'd like to see some of that. Like when I was at Tulane or Troy, I would have loved to have seen like an exchange fee like European soccer has. Like you want to buy my player that's down here, you can buy him, but you got to pay me something to get him. And so that's a model that I think would be maybe interesting. But for me, I'm a player's coach. Now, sometimes that means I hug a guy. Sometimes I kick him in the butt. I love the guys we coach. I want to be invested in their lives. I want to help them maximize who they can become on and off the field. And I also want them to be taken care of and compensated. And so I think how you balance both is important. You have to be authentic and genuine and have real relationships with your guys.
How do you find the trust in some of these players? Like Cignetti is doing this with what we know what Indiana was. No one's thinking about that now. You know, that's going to be a headline if Oregon beats them. Kiffin leads Ole Miss. You've played them twice. I mean, you know that you've got a team there that rallies. There's a vibe with some teams that other teams don't have. And what you just described, I feel like it's harder to find nowadays. Is it true that is difficult to find? And how do you do it?
Yeah, it takes time to build trust. You don't build it overnight, right? And so, and you have to have a relationship. Like for me to be able to trust somebody, I got to know they got my best interest at heart.
Right.
Well, you don't know somebody has your best interest at heart off of one conversation. The only way you can show somebody you love them is through actions and through relationship and through time. So like I love my mom because growing up as a kid, my mom made sacrifices for me. Well, until I see somebody make a sacrifice for me, how do I know they really love me and care about me? And that's how you build trust. And so, and then trust is also built through honesty and direct conversation and transparency. And so that takes time. I think you're able to do it faster when you're very upfront, you're very deliberate, and you really believe in clear communication, and you're concise with that communication. You don't try to beat around the bush with guys. It's challenging. Some guys are less trusting because of maybe they've been burned.
Exactly. Right.
And so it's how do you build that? Each guy's different. Every individual is different.
Was Ole Miss any different the second go around to the first with different coaching at head coach? They're very good. We know that.
They beat us 45-10 in game one. They beat us 41-10 in game two. So they looked a lot the same to me. They kicked our ass both times.
I don't mean that in a tongue-in-cheek way. I mean, they look like a legit team that everyone thought was just going to fall off the planet. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Trinidad. No, I took no offense. Trust me. Trinidad Chain was really good. Kewan Lacey, really good. The receivers, really good. The number 6, the linebacker, I think he's the best communicator on the second level of defense I've seen all year in college football. All right. So they're a well-coached, talented team. You can tell they've attacked the portal. I think they've got we talked about alignment, structure, organization within the portal and financially. I think Ole Miss has had great success, not to take anything away from Lane, but Keith Carter, Walker Jones, and not taking anything away from Pete either. But Ole Miss they're doing this NIL rev share stuff as well as anybody in America. They're paying dudes, and they are writing bigger checks. So, and kudos to them, good for them. They've got a great, I think, plan that we all need to learn from and emulate. And so they're a really good football team, man. I looked out there, I didn't see a whole lot of weaknesses when we played them game one or game two.
Hey, kudos to you for writing a big check to Tulane.
Yeah,
$100,000 the collective. You talked about the transfer fee in European soccer. I think it's like you said with actions. It's one thing to say it. It's another thing to actually show appreciation to a place when you leave, because it'd be easy just to say, hey, this is the SEC. It's a bigger program. See you guys. I'm out. But you cut a check. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, my wife and I had made that decision in October. We had cleared it through David Harris at Tulane, the athletic director, that he would allow us to give it straight to football if I gave a check. We discussed it, me and my wife did. Through taking this job, me and my wife kind of sat down and said, hey, I think this is still the right thing to do because we care about the place. It gave me a tremendous opportunity twice in my career. I became an FBS position coach, full-time coach for the first time in my career at the age of 29 at Tulane. Became a head coach for the second time in my career a few years ago at Tulane. And so it's been a huge part of my career. Our oldest 2 kids were born in New Orleans. I'm a big believer in trying to leave a place better than you found it. Look, really I wish I could do more, but I have to buy a new house here, sell a house there. And we're doing a lot, but I'm all for Tulane continuing to be successful. I'm a big Tulane fan. I'll always be a Greenway fan.
Finally, what is it like just realizing you're a head coach in the SEC? Coaching is a grind, man. You know this. Everyone knows. And you're the head coach of the Florida Gators in college football in the Southeastern Conference, where growing up, Chad and I there is a fabric. It's a religion.
Yeah, you're one of 16. There are 16 men who hold those jobs.
We're getting to talk to an SEC head coach. We have a hobby, not a job. What's the perspective from you, and have you been able to enjoy it?
Well, first, to your point, I've got a job, but it is my hobby, right?
Yeah.
So I grew up as a kid always saying, man, I want to go play football today. I never said I wanted to go work football. And so I'm getting to do something I love doing daily, and that's coaching the game, competing, impacting our players' lives positively. And then to have the opportunity to do it in this league has been a dream of mine. Since I was a kid, to be quite honest with you, when I grew up in Alabama. All right.
Yep.
I didn't watch the NFL that closely. I watched the SEC. I watched college football. So this is that to me, always has been. And so every morning my alarm clock goes off, whether it's 4:30, 5 a.m., whatever time each day. And man, I'm like fired up. I get to do what I get to do every day. Do I like every part of the day right now? No, not every part of it. But as soon as we get our team in place and I get to go attack the offseason and coach these dudes, dude, I'm going to be freaking fired up.
I love it, man. I can't wait to watch you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna see what goes down here because
it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be badass, whatever it is. Like and blunt, which I appreciate, man. Hey, congrats again, and let's do this again soon. We can chat NIL whenever, or we'll talk ball. I think that's what you would prefer.
Sounds good.
All right, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
Thanks for having me on. Go Gators.
Absolutely. Anytime. There's Coach John Sumrall joining us in quite the again the. He's, you know how to describe him? Pissed off for greatness.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
I love that, man.
I look at him, too,
That's
and
cool.
I think, Hutton, that he's us.
That's what, he's 43 years old.
He grew up in
right.
the South. He's 5 months younger than me, looking at his birthday, and he grew up watching SEC football. Like that,
yeah.
The way he talks about it is the way I feel about watching the game. I've never been a football coach. I didn't play in the SEC. I haven't coached in the SEC, so I know nothing about what his day-to-day is like because I've never done it.
We're in the backyard playing
But it would
tackle.
be as if we ended up in that spot because that's the enthusiasm I think I would have that he shows right there in that interview. And it's awesome to see.
In the Mid-South, the college teams are the pro team.
Yep.
The Titans weren't here they didn't move here until 98. So they made the move from Houston in 96, but in Nashville, the stadium didn't open until 98.
He also grew up an hour and a half down the road from us in Huntsville, Alabama. Yeah. So it's just, I'm listening to him talk, man. And I'm thinking, this dude's us.
You can hear Saban in it too, all right?
A little bit.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe to OutKick Hot Mic.
Daily content and more at OutKick Hot Mic on YouTube.